Hi everyone, welcome to Tony Fox Tarot. Thanks for joining me today. Great to have you with me. Today we are tuning into messages from past loved ones and we are going to identify who this person is in terms of their relationship to you. We'll break the character down of this person, get an understanding of who they are, what they're all about, their personality traits, the way they look, what they were into, what they're all about essentially. And most importantly, we are going to channel messages through from this person for you specifically. So lots to get through. And before we get started, if you want to go down below and hit subscribe, tap on the bell icon while you're there. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. Please like and share this video where you can. And if you're interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. Plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Now, before you on the screen, we've got 4 different cards to choose from. And the idea is to choose a card that resonates with you really clearly. Once you've made that choice, that will be your reading. It's perfectly fine to choose more than one card if it comes through really strongly for you. And just remember, this is a general reading, so take what resonates and leave behind anything that doesn't. Now, we've got card 1, card 2, card 3, and card 4. Taking a moment to be with the cards, drawing in a nice deep breath. And as you release the breath, listening to your intuition, your inner voice, the energy of the cards. Which of these comes through for you the strongest? Is it card 1, card 2, card 3, or card 4? So down below there are 4 different timestamps representing each of these different cards. If you'd like to go to the one you've chosen, I'll see you in a moment. Hi everyone, welcome to card number 1. This is your reading and we're looking at messages from past loved ones today. So let's jump in and have a look and see what's going on. I'm up here at the Tower and the 2 of Pentacles. I feel like this is, like, I want to say, this is like part of, like somebody who's part of you, like it's the other half of you. Like I feel like there's this closeness that you've had that predates your adulthood. I kind of feel like I'm going back into childhood even, you know, like I feel like there's a long history here that reaches way back. And I feel like you were thick as thieves. I feel like I want to laugh as well. I kind of feel like at the same time, you're also up to a lot of no good with each other. It's this sense of being inseparable. It's inseparable and there's this connection that just feels eternal. You know, like it's like back in the day, it was like, you know, you were really close, spending a lot of time together, thick as thieves, up to no good. And at the same time, I just kind of feel like this would last forever. You know, there's this feeling that you are committed and that you're very dynamic together. There's a real dynamic sense of 2 personalities that come together as one. And when you're together, it feels like everything is possible. It's like you're invincible. I don't know, maybe a lot of you are too young or maybe too old to understand this, what I'm saying here, but that there was a cartoon back in the 70s or the 80s, and it was that Wonder Twin powers are activated by these two people coming together, and you have this power when you're together where you just amp each other up in a way where you feel that you become one, and it's like an invincible sense that we can do anything is possible, and together we stand and we stand united. I felt very similar ages, and if there was an age difference, it was very, very close, you know, like maybe a year apart. I felt like you shared everything, you know, like what's yours is mine, what's mine is yours. You know, it's just that, you know, like there's resources when you come together, because you kind of feel like, you know, everything and anything is possible. And so all of a sudden you just, you know, you brain power everything in a way where you see so much more and so much more potential of what is it you can do and what is it you can get and what is it you are able to achieve. So resources become amplified. The potential of everything becomes amplified. There's a sense of sharing. You're inseparable, and I really felt, you know, very like best friends or a very close relative perhaps. like it could even be like for some of you, I'm not sure. It could even be like a child, somebody who's like a childhood lover, even. Like it just feels like you're really close, and you're fused together. But you're also, this is a really tumultuous time for the both of you, and I felt that a lot of what you were doing was making the best of what was in front of you, because it was a really bad time. Really, really bad time. There was a sense of everything being just completely up in the air, and that this time really bonded you together. I felt the both of you were actually really vulnerable, um, and that a big part of the reason why you came together so closely was because there was this sense of looking out for each other, and you're so similar to each other in so many ways. It's almost like you're peas of a pod. It's hard to distinguish who's who here. Um, and I felt like this person was always looking over you, and you were always looking over this person. You had each other's backs. And the thing is, you like this person kept you afloat, and you kept them afloat. But this person was always like this thing. This is like, I'm never going to let you sink. I'm never never going to let you go down. That's a message that comes through really strongly. I'm not going to let you go down, keep you afloat. I'll keep us going. But you were the same for them. Like, you would never let this person go down. You would always keep them afloat. You're into the same things. You're sharing everything. Maybe even sharing. Oh, I don't want this to sound odd, but maybe even sharing partners. Like maybe a girlfriend or a boyfriend or something. You've kind of. There's this, not in a weird way, it's just like the sense of closeness is that you know each other's business. I felt that you'd seen each other through these times that were just like that they underpinned your world in a way where it was just the worst. I think you've both seen some really bad behaviors of other people. I think other people have both let you down. I didn't feel that other people were there for either one of you. I didn't feel, coming over here to the Hermit and the Five of Wands. I didn't feel like there was care around either one of you. There was no sharing around each other. There were no other people contributing in a constructive way into your lives. I felt that there was no heart, there was no love, there was no support. And you were both very isolated. You weren't like them. Maybe this is like a group of friends, or it could be family, or some sort of a community. But I felt that you two took solace, like you took sanctuary with each other in a way where you kept each other going. You gave to each other everything that you were never given outside of that sense of sharing together. I feel like there's a lost childhood here. Or a lost innocence. I feel like the both of you had to grow up very quickly, and you had to. It was like you were forced to. Nobody gave you any room to have a childhood. Nobody gave you any room to be innocent. It was just a really tough time, very very competitive time. That I feel there's a lot of fighting actually around the two of you. That you had to grow up, and you had to be really strong. And you were either in amongst this group in a way where you had to really be on your toes. You had to be fit mentally, psychologically, emotionally, physically even. Like, you had to be really on guard. Like, I kind of felt if you let your guard down, there was a sense that other people would take from you, in some way that was just really really a bit unpleasant, maybe. I felt that even though that was the case, this was a situation that made the both of you really strong, but it forced you to both to grow up very very quickly. But this sense that other people are trying to take something away from the both of you. And I think the thing is that what you both identified from a really like straight off the bat sort of thing, like from knowing each other or being with each other, it was like you both identified that you weren't like them. We're not like that. It's like, we're cast from a different, we're cast from the same die, but we're not from that lineage or from that group, or I think that there's so much in common in terms of the personality traits. The two of you are just so similar. It's like you've had to stay on your feet. I've got to feel exhausted at the same time. It's like the two of you have had to really stay at it. You had to stay aware, acutely aware of what's going on around you. And that's why you've had each other's backs. And that you've seen really tough times in a way that have forced you to wise up, to grow up, to know what people are like. Yeah. That sense of anticipating that there's something always just around the corner, and it's a hard slog. Like in some ways, part of me wants to say it's like, oh, I just feel like this is hard work. This future, this sense of where things are going is a bit like, it's like, it would be easy to give up, but because you had each other, it's like you spurred each other on. Like you gave each other what you both needed to make right, really, of the situation. Because the energy is very dynamic between the two of you, and you just bounce like. And I think either you're best friends, or you're related, or you're even a couple in some way. Maybe I think it kind of feels so committed, is what it feels like. It's the sharing and the heart that I see in the two of you, that you would never let each other fall. You'd never let each other sink. I feel like this person's a bit older than you, actually. Maybe this one had a slightly more sensible head. Maybe this one was also slightly ahead of you in some ways. But then again, I kind of want to flip that around, because I think maybe that was the case. But on the other hand, I think you had also like a slightly different perspective that always caught them by surprise. It's not that they are underestimated you. It's just that you did surprise them genuinely. You did. They're actually saying that you continue to surprise them, and that you're continuing to be that dynamic person. The thing is, and this is really strong, is that they're saying that they are there around you, behind you, in front of you, and they've always tried to get your attention. And that you know that they are doing that because you're open to it. Like, you're open to that potential of them coming through, and that you've actually seen signs from them. And they'll keep on throwing something at you in a way that makes you sit up and actually think twice. Especially when you're really down. I think that's actually when they're there the most. It's like they're straight in there for you, with you. Yeah, so I kind of feel like there's a lot of strength in this. I felt here, the Hierophant, Ace of Pentacles, there was this really important idea of money was really important to the both of you. Always was very important. I think but there's a savviness with money, or at least there's like a strong emphasis on the potential of making money, of wanting to make money, make something out of nothing, turning things around, turning things over, flipping things. Because money gave the both of you choices. And it also earned credibility. It was this idea of earning credibility. It's like, I feel like this person's saying, like they've always said, I would always be there for you. It's kind of almost like a marriage or a blood tie. It's like, it's like I'm always going to make good for you in terms of the commitment that I had made. Both for me being there for you, but also this thing about money and finances. There's always going to be money in the pot. There's always going to be money in the bank. And you would always be there for them, and they would always be there for you on that level. The money, the finance, the security was actually a very important part of the relationship as things grew on. Because I think the thing is that the two of you had always dreamed of like a more secure new beginning in terms of your life. Because I feel like you've come up in a way where there is a lot of insecurity, where people are taking away from you, where you never really know what you've got from one day to the next in terms of surety. It's like there's just a sense you got to watch your back, that somebody might try one on you, trying to take something from you that ran very deeply for the both of you in terms of your experience. And it's this idea that I need to dream of a new beginning. Yeah. Money gives us choices. It earns us credibility. Like, there's kudos in money. Like, it's like everything else was uncertain, but money wasn't. Money was like, the bomb, really. I felt this person's still saying it though. Like this person's still saying the money's going to be there, the money's in the bank, the money's like just follow the money on some levels. Keep the security going, and they're also saying you aren't letting anybody in, and that they feel that you've withdrawn from people, that you've isolated yourself in a way where you've taken a position where it's us against them, me against them. Maybe there's a person or there's other people over time that have tried to get in, tried to be a part of your world, but you won't let them in. They're saying to loosen up, that you need to move forward. It's not about moving on. It's not about letting it go. It's just about moving forward. That's what they're saying. No one, and what they're saying is that no one can ever live up to us, because what we had was what we had. But there is life beyond us. Yeah? They want you to make a commitment to the future. And they want you to stop being so conservative about risk. This thing about risk. Don't be too conservative about it. Throw caution to the wind. And they want you to stop expecting the worst from people, because although that's how it was back then, it doesn't mean that that's what it's always going to be like with everybody. Yeah? It's okay to loosen up. It's okay to let them in. It's okay to throw caution to the wind. Keep the security going. Keep the money going. There's money in the bank. There's money there for you. Yeah? And so maybe you're going through a time where you're feeling that's not there. Yeah? But it's important to remember that the dynamic that you have with this person, that sense of potential of what you can achieve, it always continues on. But they're always going to be there with you. Money is there for you in this world. There's something about it. You have good fortune on your side. Yeah? Trust. You got to trust it. You got to trust that what you had back then is still what you have today in terms of that sense of potential, of that energy. Just because they're on the other side doesn't mean that they've lost contact with you. They're trying to reach out to you. They do reach out. You know that they do. You've seen the signs. Maybe you've even had the communication with them. Just be more open to it. Look, I hope this reading has made some sense to you. And if it has, feel free to leave some comments down below. It'd be great to get your feedback. Like and share this video where you can. Hit subscribe. Tap on the bell icon. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. And if you're interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Thanks very much and take care. Hi everyone, welcome to card number 2. This is your reading and we are looking at messages from past loved ones. So let's jump in and have a look and see what's going on here today. Up here to Death and the Queen of Pentacles. I felt that this was an older female energy that came through. It could be somebody's mother who aged to quite an old age. It also could be a grandmother or a great-grandmother even. But I felt a very strong nurturing energy coming through here with this person. There's something quite stern about them, you know, like maybe a bit old school, but at the same time very loving. Like you know what I mean? Like it's sort of maybe could be quite hard to other people, definitely. But you were very special to this person, to this female energy. I don't feel like this person took crap from anybody, you know, wouldn't take anybody else's BS, you know. It was just very, very strong boundaries. You knew where you stood with this person. Like I actually think, but not like maybe harsh, but at the same time just very honest, you know, like spoke their mind very, I don't think it was abrupt. I think it was just very upfront actually. I felt that this person had a very difficult death. Slow, maybe an ongoing chronic situation that lasted for a long time. I felt in some cases this could be for years actually. Like, and I also want to say that this person tried to cheat death. I think maybe death had come to them a couple of times, once or twice. You know, maybe there's something that happened where they nearly died, but came back from it and actually lived longer. And so always try, and I think in their mind it was like, they were quite resistant to death. It's like, no, I'm not ready to go. It's not my time. I've got things to do. I'm not going now. This is kind of quite sort of stoic approach to life on that level. I felt that when this person passed, it was a very dignified death, though, and it was really important to this person. I think it actually would have been important to anybody who knew this person very well. I get a very articulate and cultured person. I felt there's quite a refined sensibility, very refined aesthetic. I felt this is somebody who could have had some money. I felt like they were comfortable. That was actually what I felt. I felt this was somebody who felt they were financially and economically savvy, perhaps. They were definitely in control of money. I felt like this person was, this person comes across like a matriarch, a matriarch that the buck stopped with this person. At the end of the day, it came up the line. It's sort of like it stopped with her, and if it didn't wash, it didn't happen. You had to answer to this person. I think to a lot of other people, they were quite frightened of this person. I think it would be easy to get the wrong idea about who she was. I think on it from a sort of more of a face value, point of view, that maybe they seemed a bit harsh, stoic, tough, and which they were. They were tough. I felt. And there also is a conservatism here that feels very real. It's sort of, I didn't feel as this was the most liberal person, but at the same time, very old school in terms of their experience. So it's not that they're not open-minded. It's just a very set way of looking at things that was perhaps like a very different generation. And like an old school, older generation that, just had a way of doing things that maybe this generation or sort of generations onward just didn't necessarily find the most politically correct. Actually, I do feel that, sort of could say the wrong thing at the wrong time. I felt like this person stood up to people. Felt that I got to say, this thing about death is actually quite important, because I don't feel like this person was afraid to die, which is why they stood up to death, which is why they got away from maybe dying more than once or more. It's that I kind of feel like they're trying to elude it in a way, because at the end of the day they're not ready for it, but at the same time it's like, I'm not afraid to die, so I've got nothing to lose by telling death where to get off. It's quite it's very strong. This is very strong energy. I feel like they saw a lot of death in their life. Maybe they had like a past, like a history that actually was exposed to death. This thing about death comes up very strongly, actually. They were very well versed in the idea of what it was about. It wasn't a taboo subject to them. But you are the apple of this person's eye. They saw and see so much potential in you, and they've always been very amazed by your social panache. You're a very easygoing person. They envied that in many ways. They want you to know that the world is your oyster. It always was, and it still is. You made this person feel very special, actually. You were the apple of their eye. The things that they saw in you were that you were always so natural and warm with people. Like you just sort of had an ease about you, and they loved that side of your nature. They watched you from afar, maybe growing up, but even into your later years or your adult life. They thought that you were the best thing to come out of their life in whatever association this is, whether it's family, whether it's friends, whether it's a colleague, but this person just felt that you were very central to their world, and they trusted you. And this person wasn't so trustworthy of other people. You know, they were very cautious and reserved and conservative about other people and about life in general. I think because they've seen hardships, they know how precarious life can be. But with you, they trusted you. I think that's the thing that comes through the strongest here, is this sense of trust that they had for you, and that they thought you were the best thing to come out of their life, and they saw a future in you, that you are a new generation of possibility, of potential. They've always thought that you were really talented. They want you to know that they think that you're still very talented, and that and they want to thank you for making them feel special, because you really got this person in a way that nobody else did. Like, you actually you were just very natural with them. Like, you just gave of yourself in a way that just was straight from the heart. Okay, and this person hadn't really experienced that kind of a relationship before, in a way that was just very innocent, and that reinstalled their faith in humanity, and but also I kind of feel there's a strong link here about their passing. It's like they've entrusted you, like, with life moving forward in a way where they feel that there is this potential for things to move on in a way that they hadn't seen before. I think up until you coming into their life or being a part of their life, you know, I think they held back a lot, and so a lot of what they've experienced with you in terms of their relationship with you is something that really they're very thankful to have had. You know, that they had a chance to impart something of themselves to you, and I feel that this person nurtured you in some way. It could be like mother, grandmother, but also it could, you know, it could be like a mentor as well. Like, I kind of feel like this person has been a strong mentor to you. Like, that they've actually, that conservative, you know, solid backbone has actually served you well. Like, it's actually given you some really solid shape in your life. It's taught you some parameters, perhaps. It's also made you sort of face some tough aspects about what life is about. I think because this person's quite a realist in many ways, yeah. But you may have made them feel very special. I feel this person did have a bit of a dark side, and when I say dark side, I feel this person could be quite depressive. At times, they couldn't see or clearly express their feelings to other people. I think they put a lot of other people off. Sometimes they gave the wrong impression to other people, and maybe they even did that to you at times. Maybe there were times where this person felt that they weren't fully there for you, but they were certainly not fully there for other people. But they want you to know that they had a lot to do with their past, that things were never fully resolved in terms of what they saw, what they experienced from their past. And that their past did haunt them, like it clouded their ability to see the future. I think there's this thing about a loss of faith in people, maybe even humanity in some ways. But that, you know, like, you came into their world in a way where all of a sudden it sharpened their focus, and you really helped them to see what is possible again through humanity and the love of people, and to be vulnerable with people. She loves your care. I think this is the thing that keeps on coming up, is this you know, that they love your carefree nature. That's the thing that they love about you most. That you're free of hang-ups. You've got no baggage. You just kind of, you're really at ease with yourself. It's quite enviable. That this person definitely battled some demons in their life in a way where it did get the better of them. That's something they are sorry about. They want to say sorry about that. And I think maybe that's a sorry to you. Maybe it didn't affect you so directly, but maybe it helps to answer why they were actually like that with other people. they're trying to point me to this idea that maybe you've been unclear about your future, that you're unable to see past certain things at this point in time in a way where but they're saying it's like almost like you're spoiled for choice. You know, like it's all there in front of you. It's just there for the taking. Like, what's stopping you? What they're saying is, you know, like you just need to be more decisive about things. Just make a choice. It doesn't have to be the right choice. It just needs to be a choice to move forward. You know, sometimes, you know, you know, we're all spoiled for choice. We just don't know how good we've got it. You've actually got it really good, is what they're trying to say. It's not about what you choose. It's about getting the ball rolling and letting it take you to the next point so that things become clearer from there on. They're saying don't try so hard. And that, look, if it gets that unclear for you, if it's really that unclear, just let things settle a bit. Let yourself clear your mind and come back to it, okay? They're saying that doors are always going to open for you. People like you. Yeah, this is the doors are always going to open for you because people really like you. They warm to you, and that you're luckier than most people because you stand out for being a really good person. Yeah, that's what they're saying. You know, that you're a loving person, that your intent is very kind, generous, and that they are there for you. And that don't worry, you know, if it's really that unclear at this particular time, you know, that will pass. Don't fret, don't stress, don't push too hard. But if you can, just make a choice and run with that in a way where it just takes you to the next place, the next step, the next stage. And perhaps things will be clearer then. But it's what they're saying is you'll never make the wrong choice. It's a choice that you make. You deal with that choice and you move forward and you take it as it comes. Hope that makes sense to you. Look, I hope this reading has made some sense. And if it has, feel free to leave some comments down below. It'd be great to get your feedback. Like and share this video where you can. Hit subscribe. Tap on the bell icon. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. And if you're interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Thanks very much and take care. Hi everyone, welcome to card number 3. This is your reading and we are looking at messages from past loved ones today. So let's jump on in and have a look and see what's going on here with these cards. And I'm going to come up here to Wheel of Fortune and the King of Cups. I felt a masculine energy coming through here. I felt that this could be somebody's husband or their boyfriend. It's a loving energy that comes through. I mean, this is a very deep love for you. This is somebody who feels that there's a really deep wisdom here as well. Like, you know, this is somebody who just got you, knows you, understands you, accepts you for who you are as a person. And they don't have to sort of wrap it up in a million words. They just, their presence is very comforting. And I feel that this person passed very suddenly. I feel like it came out of nowhere. It was a bolt out of the blue. It's like all of a sudden they're here one moment and they're just gone the next, and nobody saw it coming. I felt that there was so much that was about to happen in your lives together. It's kind of I kind of feel like you had a lot of plans together. There are all these things that you were going to do. Life was just bumping along in a way where you didn't expect anything bad to go wrong. You know, like it just, you know, like it's like you had a full life together. Like, you know, everything was happening. You know, you did things together. You had things together. You had plans. There's this big thing about plans. And so everything felt just normal, really. Like, and you know, like when you look at it from through the lens of the future, it felt full of potential. You know, we're going to do things. And that was all just taken away in a flash. It's like, you know, everything that you had was just gone instantly. The life that you had together. the things that you were going to do together. I feel that this person was, like a very emotionally sophisticated person, maybe even a bit complex at times, could be quite hard to read on some levels. I feel that they weren't a big talker. I feel like this is a quiet person who kept a lot to themselves, but you knew that they loved you. It's that they told you that they loved you, but you knew that they loved you because they showed it in so many different ways. So very tender, very caring, very, very generous, from a heartfelt level. You always felt like you were looked after. This person looked after you. They looked out for you. There's there's a soulmate connection here. This is love. It's like very deep love, and it was reciprocated in a way where you both felt that you had an amazing life together because you were very lucky to be in love, very, very lucky to find the person who you really did love. I feel a very warm smile coming through from this person. Very giving heart, very quiet, but very present at the same time. There is a lot that they didn't tell you. Because that's the kind of person that they were. They weren't fully expressive in terms of communication. Not the greatest communicator. But at the same time, I don't feel like this person really needed to, because that just wasn't their style. There's more that I want to say about who this person is, but I'm going to come back to that. And, the place that you're in at this particular point in time, it's like you just haven't gotten over it. It's like the shock of it hasn't left you. I feel like this has happened not long ago. It might have been recent. And if it's not that, it's like whatever it is that happened and whenever it is that it happened, it's just not left you. It's still at the forefront of your experience. Your mind is always set upon it in a way where, it's like you're not able to deal with it. It's like you can't face getting on with life without this person. It's quite agonizing. All the plans that you had. It's like, what are we going to do? How do you move on from all of those things? There are all of these things that are just sort of sitting there in the balance still that have not been dealt with, not been resolved in terms of putting them to rest, your future together, the things that you had together perhaps. It's just this sense of, I just can't believe that they're gone. I can't believe, and I don't want to believe that they're gone. I think that's the thing. It's not wanting to let go. And even if you tried to kind of figure out how to begin this process, it's like you wouldn't know where to start. It feels very fresh, like it just happened. And they're saying you're not looking after yourself. It's like your mental health is really fraught, but you're not looking after you. Like it's becoming like an unhealthy situation. You're alone and you're isolated. It's almost like you don't want to face other people. There's I get a sense of sleepless nights here, waking up and thinking about this person, dreaming about this person, and it just kind of freshens it all up again in a way where it's just like you feel they're present, but then you know that they're not here at the same time. And this person is here with you. They are here with you. They're here with you in spirit. They're here in your heart. They're here in your experience of their past with you. This person is very worried about you. They're very worried about you. Very worried about where you're taking it in your mind. There are times when you're getting very, very anxious, very fearful about what to do next. They're very concerned that you're not looking after yourself properly. That's the biggest thing. They want you to look after yourself. And what they're trying to say to you is that you need to put yourself first now. You need to start making plans that are about moving on from this experience. A lot of what's going on here is that you're just seeing complexity. It's very difficult to address things because you're finding it very hard to deal with the fact that they've gone. There's still a shock value there. That It's not about necessarily about denial. I think, although it could be, but it's this sense that, they're saying you need to begin to start the process of acceptance. Yeah. Be open to acceptance. Be open to acceptance about the loss that they have gone. And that they want you to start thinking of yourself. What they're saying here is there's just so much grief. There is so much grief going on that it's just weighing you down into a dark place, and that it's putting you into a vulnerable position. They don't want to see you become unhealthy. They don't want to see you living a life of misery. They want you to know that it's time to celebrate their death. Yeah. They want you to celebrate the life that they had with you. Celebrate the life that they had as an individual, to the person that they were. By hanging on to all of the attachments of what you had together, of what you were going to do together, it just creates all this enormous amount of complexity. And that you need to simplify things in a way where it becomes easier to deal with. And the only way to simplify that is to begin to let go of all of these things, the attachments that you have to what you were doing with this person, yeah, the life that you had with this person, the plans that you had. And simplifying things means to be mindful of bringing it back to yourself, of looking after you, and that it's time to take action. It's time to do something about this now. That you've left this long enough. You can't continue on this way. This is not a functional way to live life, and that this is not living life, and that life is for the living. They don't want that to sound cliche. That's actually heartfelt. They mean that life is for the living, and that it's time for you to move forward. But the way to do that is to simplify things into letting go. Yeah. Take the complexity out of life. Let it all go. Simplify life. Just make it one step at a time for yourself. Start looking after yourself. Yeah. Start to begin the process of acceptance, of letting go. Okay. This person's a very beautiful individual, and anybody would be in the same kind of shock as you if they had actually lost somebody who was that close to them. But you have to remember that this person is here with you and for you. That by letting go doesn't mean that you're letting them go. Do you understand? It's just letting go of what it is that's happened. The love is always there. If you think about the love of this person, the love is fully alive within your heart and within their heart. That's not ever going to diminish. So don't be fearful that by letting go, that you're letting go of the love. The love is always going to be there. In fact, the love will just get stronger. This person is there for you. This person is on the other side waiting for you when that time comes. And you still have work to do, but you need to look at life beyond this particular experience, because at the moment you're not able to see a future. You're not able to see what life's all about, what it has in store for you, because you're living in the past. And it's time to let go of the past and start living in the present so you can begin to make a future. I hope this reading has made some sense to you, and if it has, feel free to leave some comments down below. It'd be great to get your feedback. Like and share this video where you can. Hit subscribe, tap on the bell icon. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. And if you are interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. Plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Thanks very much and take care. Hi everyone, welcome to card 4. This is your reading, and today we're looking at messages from past loved ones, and cards are on the table. Let's jump on in and see who we have here. Drawn up here to the Emperor and the Knight of Cups. It's quite a dominating energy that comes through. A very, very strong person with a lot of will. But this is somebody who really wants to be. I don't know. It's about being the center of attention. They don't want to be in control of things. Definitely. I feel like this is a very ambitious person, very young energy that comes through. I'm feeling like this is somebody maybe in their 20s, could be early 30s. Felt, young, virile, and bulgy, quite pushy. I get a sense that this is a person who wanted to make their mark on the world. They were looking to prove themselves, and they wanted to be the best at whatever it is that they put their mind to or their hands to. Very professionally minded person, really aiming towards the top. This could have been somebody kind of trying to get into corporate or getting into business, or into some sort of workplace structure where they're really trying to climb up to the top and to be accounted, to be seen. They had something to say. They had their own way of doing things. They were quite thirsty to make their mark and to show people what they had and what they were made of. At the same time, a very warm energy that comes through, quite friendly. This is a person who gave a lot, very cheeky, a funny person who was very quick-witted, but at the same time, there's a warmth to her. It's not. What do I want to say here? What I do want to say is that they were socially savvy. They wanted to know the right people. They did know the right people. And they were always looking for social opportunity. They really wanted to become socially mobile. It was about who you knew to them. It wasn't what you knew, it was who you knew. So from that point of view, your credentials were based largely on your ability to open doors through other people, through connections, whether that's friends, whether that's professional, through business or otherwise. I felt like this could be... I feel like this is a male energy. I feel like this could be somebody's boyfriend or best friend. There's a warmth and a closeness to this person. I feel like this is a person that you knew for a big part of your life. So it could go back into childhood. I feel like this is somebody who was just very vibrant. Like in the UK, you'd call this would be like a lad, like a real lad, or a lad about town. Street smart, savvy, socially aware, looking for social mobility to open doors and to climb up the ladder and to make a mark on the world, I felt that this person could be overbearing at times, though, quite pushy, and that actually was a bit of a downside to knowing them. Action was really important, though. Like they really wanted to take on challenges, essentially, whether that was through their professional pursuits, whether that was through their social pursuits, but it extended to other things, like outdoors. I felt like this person was quite an outdoorsy type of person. And I don't say physically fit in terms of going to the gym necessarily. I just felt like this is somebody who liked the outdoors, liked the challenge of maybe a hike or some kind of rugged terrain. Getting away, I felt like was important to this person. I kind of feel like that for me. I just really feel like this is a very city type of person. Like I kind of feel like this is somebody who was at home or felt very at ease on the streets in from a social sort of context. Street smart keeps on coming up for me. When this person passed, I feel like I'm over here with the hangman and the 5 of swords. When this person passed, I felt like it's like you were in the middle of a bitter argument, or you'd fallen out. And I feel like you argued a lot together through your time of being with each other. It's like, but whatever it was that happened, it's like I feel like you were very unforgiving, that you couldn't let it go, and that at the time that they passed, you were holding on to a lot of bitterness. You wouldn't let it go. Like, it really was a real sticking point to you. It's just something that had got you on principle. And so when they passed, it really hit home where things were at in terms of your connection to this person. And the fallout that you'd had with them, it was unresolved, and you were holding on to a lot of bitterness. I feel like this might have involved other people, that there was a kind of like a flow-on effect, like that it impacts you centrally, but other people were affected as a consequence. And I think what I felt really strongly here was that this person had tried to say sorry to you, before they had passed, whether you knew that or not. They had actually tried to say sorry. Perhaps that message hadn't gotten through, or perhaps you hadn't been able to accept it. I feel like it was really dramatic. Whatever it is that happened, it was very dramatic, and it was a big part of that is because this is a big personality that you had to deal with. This person actually had a big personality, so it was going to be dramatic. I think you were also very tested out to try to figure out whether you could accept this person, for who it is that they were at that time. It was a real sticking point. Like it came to this sort of crescendo. It's like, oh God, I just don't know if I can. I don't know if I can do this anymore. I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can take this kind of behavior. And you really question their motivation in terms of your friendship, your connection, your relationship, whatever it is. Yeah. But since then, you've never really forgiven yourself about where things were at. It's like the guilt has been an absolute burden upon you. I'm down here with the Tower and the Ten of Swords. I feel like the situation has eaten you up in a way where you feel somehow responsible, that you feel that it's your fault, and that you keep on blaming yourself, not necessarily for the passing of this person, but for the situation that they passed away on. I keep on getting this thing of you saying you're a really bad person, and that you're reliving this situation. It's like you're going over it and over it and over it and over it. It's like you can't let it go, that you wish that you'd done things differently. And that if you could go back and do them again, you would do it differently. It's like you feel like you failed them, but also that you failed other people. What comes through really here is, it's like you've lost trust within yourself, but also about your behavior towards other people. That somehow maybe you're a bad friend or a bad person, and that you're unreliable in terms of your character. I feel like other people feel your pain and sorrow through, and they might not have even been involved, but it's like they watch on and they know what you carry within yourself because of the way things unfolded at the passing time of this person. And this person is coming through. This person's got has a really strong personality. Like they want to come through in a way where they're saying, "But you weren't wrong." It's like you weren't. The thing is, you weren't wrong. They were being the agitator. They were being the aggressor. That's the kind of person that they are, and they're saying sorry. Truly, they are so sorry. They have been for a really long time trying to get through to you to say sorry, but you have pulled the shutters down so tightly that they're locked in place. It's like you're actually so consumed by your own process of grief and what you've done that you've forgotten to let some light in so that this person can actually make their way into your world and be heard. So they're saying that you did the right thing to stand your ground, to stand by your principles, that they mean everything, that they can be really pushy, really bolshy, that it is all about them, and that they were testing your boundaries, and they've always tested your boundaries, and they test everybody's boundaries, and that at the end of the day, they've always played to win, and that they know that they've been really hard on you and that it was not your fault. You were not wrong. They want you to let it go. Okay, they're saying they forgive you, but there's nothing to forgive. Okay, if that makes sense. What they want to say is, don't let this overshadow the connection that you had with them, that it's been too long now, that time is beginning to lapse in a way where all that seems to shadow you with your connection to this person is all about the negative stuff of how they passed away and what it is that happened, that it's time to start remembering the good things. And I feel like you were very close to this person, but that you were actually really that you're a sensitive person. And so you've always taken things to heart. And they knew that. They know that. They knew how to press your buttons. They knew how to get what it is that they wanted. They knew how to work you. And they don't mean that in a horrible way. It's just that that's kind of what they were like as a person. They were savvy. They are savvy. And that they never meant to do any harm to you. And that they are really sorry that they left you with this in a way where you've been consumed by so much pain. They want you to let it all go, and they want you to hang on to the good pieces, the good bits, okay? You're at a point now where you're ready to move on, and the light is on the horizon in a way where you can begin to move forward into a very different place in your life. Things are about to change in a way that are going to be so much more positive. And so they want you to take this message to heart. They want you to take it to heart. They want you to take this on board in a way where you begin to transform your view of yourself, because you're too hard on yourself. Yeah? Look, I hope this reading has made some sense to you. And if it has, feel free to leave some comments down below. It'd be great to get your feedback. Like and share this video where you can. Hit subscribe. Tap on the bell icon. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. And if you're interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is I do, and how it is you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Thanks very much and take care.